Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne or rum.
Yay! We're here, Davida. I'm excited because you're here. I really am. You know,
Thank you so much, Annie, for having me again.
for
It's a
those
great
who don't know,
pleasure.
Davida is one of my co-hosts, but she's a busy lady, of course. You know, so we're talking about how she has to fight the Lagos commute every
Mm.
day until now. So here we are. I'm so glad you're here. Only because you always tell us the truth, and you give us the truth uncensored. So I wonder what people going to take it when they can see you in person talking, because it's been an audio till now, right? It's been mostly on
Mhm.
audio. I think you've done one live, but I think you were traveling, so we didn't see you.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you remember. I
Now
think it
you
was it
gone.
the end of the year, something around that
Yeah, yeah.
time. I really wish I had been on the call all through. I really apologize to everyone whom, for some reason, expected me to be on the calls, but I've not been there. I have lots of unread messages on my LinkedIn and on some of my social medias because I had been involved in some sort of a very crazy time in my career, but it's good to know that in recent times, some of those work have been taken off me, and for better reasons, I'll be more available um, in the days ahead. And so I'm very glad to be on this call today. I anticipate us discussing as we've always done, especially as it regards a topic that talks about our continent, Africa, and how we're making it a better place. Notice I didn't say how we're going to make it a better place, but how we are making it. It's continuous, it is present. So present continuous, how we are making it a better place. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So look, if you were here, my friend, drop us a comment. We will know you're here. Otherwise, I'm sure I turned my speaker on accidentally. So I'd love to welcome you properly. Of course, if you want to join us on stage to share your thoughts on our topic, then please do. So the link is in the comments. Yeah, the link's in the comments now. Just put it in. So you can join us on stage. You can join us with your camera off. Now, let me say that again. You have to join with your camera and your microphone turned on, and then you can turn those off when you get. You can turn your camera off when you get in the studio. There's no point. We can't hear you. There's so much point you being here, right? My screen keeps going on. Michael, I see you. Michael tells me you're late, my friend. Yeah, Michael, how can I be late when I'm here, right? We can't see him on here on streaming. I don't know why. It will take time. Then suddenly we'll start seeing all the comments. But Michael, welcome, welcome. Michael, why are you not in the studio? Michael's been one of the people who saves me. He's a Ugandan in the US, and he has many thoughts on Africa. Of course, he has. So I do want to hear your thoughts, my friend. Otherwise, the video will save me because you tell some truths I can't, even I can't tell. I have to be nice. Whereas you say it as it is, and say I love that about you. And it
Thank you
always
very much, Amy.
and I say it gives us more. It gives us more a more honest place to come from. I think. So many people have this glorious view of Africa. No, it's not glorious view. That the potential they keep talking about of Africa, and I guess this today's topic is one of those potential things, right? They tell us we can grow, we can, we can build big businesses. Of course, we can. But
Absolutely. Nothing is
say,
stopping us.
right. But something's stopping us. At the moment, something's stopping us, David. And I will
Very
say
true.
because
Very true.
many people fall off. Many startups, many of our friends on LinkedIn, they have their own businesses, right? Whatever it is, content, marketing. Some do tech. I'm saying the potential to build a business is huge, and we know Africa has the greatest number of youths on the
Hmm.
planet.
Very
But
true.
the reality is that many of these businesses never become anything substantial, which they could be. I mean, even if we take our markets, for example, David, we have many markets traders. We know with how many markets in Nigeria alone, and Africa has markets everywhere, right? See, those businesses could easily, it's not easily, they could grow. They could become a bigger business. Bigger business means they have more revenue. It means they serve more people. Some never go beyond an idea. I can imagine there's many things that can get in our way, right? There's a usual conversation around infrastructure. The usual conversation around William. So William said I didn't share the stream yard. William, look in your WhatsApp. It's there, my friend. I send it to your LinkedIn now. That makes life a bit easier for you. Because I mentioned William to David earlier because he's the one having this conference in Ghana that we're working towards.
Good to
Anyway.
know, Williams.
Yeah, okay, excellent. No, he's a nice man, and he means well. So I've got time for William. He means well. He works hard, and he dreams big, and he wants to impact people on a huge scale. So I've always got time for him for sure. And it's 1,000-seater venue for his conference. I mean, that is amazing, right?
1,000-seater. That's a big deal.
Yeah. It's a big venue. So I do want to go and see and be part of that show for sure. So and look, I think I mean, you his friends and not talk to him, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
think I'll catch up with Williams after the call. I have lots of
please
persons
do.
to catch up with. I will
Please do.
definitely do.
I mean, sorry about your LinkedIn inbox. It's not going to get better unless you sit. It's going to take you at least a day to work through it. Now, mine takes hours every day, and I just think,
I mean, I think I need 3 days, but I'm going to give it. I'm determined to give it what it takes because I don't have an excuse. It's not going to get better, as you said. So,
but it's almost like a loser's game because the more you respond, the more they respond. So are you with me? That's why I do my stuff at night because
I think we'd have to do segmentation. I mean, some are more important and timely. Yeah, some are important but not very urgent. Some are urgent but not very. Some are important, not important, and not urgent. So I think we just
yeah.
have to find a way around. But I hate that I have messages inbox and I've not responded to them. It doesn't make me feel good at all. So I'm really going to attend to them. And talking about our topic,
Yes.
talking about how to scale. How do we scale as
Hold,
African
hold on, hold on,
professionals?
hold on, hold on. Before we do all that, let's talk about you. Now,
Okay.
what do you do? And how do you help? William, I don't know what's gone wrong. Give me a second. Let me work out what the hell's gone wrong. So, David, tell us about you. And yeah, of course, you're an expert, and you mentioned that you've been listed in top 100 in Africa. So, tell us more about what you do and your expertise, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone on the call. My name is Davida. I love names, so I'm going to be calling a very long list. Get ready. My name is Davida Ifunanya Chuku Ifeoluwa Nwachuku. So, but all of those names almost mean the same thing. And I'm a Nigerian, proudly so. I'm an African, proudly so. I currently practice as a HR professional, that's a human resource professional in Nigeria. I work for a fintech at the moment. I'm experienced across healthcare, logistics, freight logistics, consulting. So finance consulting, human resource consulting, and I am a talent management expert. So performance management, culture, strategy, organizational design, recruitment and selection, all that have to do with human resource, payroll, compensation and benefit, designing a payroll structure. Those are the things I do every day. I'm certified with the Human Resource Certification International, located in Virginia, United States of America. I have successfully gained my certification as a senior professional in human resources and a global professional in human resources. So I'm trained and certified to practice HR across the world. I'm also privileged to have been chosen amongst the top performers of the HRCI exams who have become subject matter experts for HRCI. That means that I design the curriculum, the questions, or develop the exams that HRCI make across the world. The exams that people go to write to get HRCI certification. I'm part of the team who designed some of those questions. In recent time, just as Annie has said, I think last month I was listed as one of the top HRs in Africa. So we had a list of 100 top HRs in Africa. And I'm privileged to have found my name there. I count it a privilege. And I'm also grateful to the Almighty God who has kept me true. Aside my career, I'm one that believes so much in faith. I do not pass as someone who is a fanatic, but however, I believe in the supernatural. I believe there's a power up there that has kept us. And I love to see that people utilize the potentials that they have been given by the Almighty to harness their life, make the world a better place, and leave a mark that will not be easily forgotten when they are done with their assignment on earth. Thank you very much. I hope we'll have more time to discuss.
No, you're an amazing human. So there's many more people here. William, I see you. Welcome. I will try my best to play your latest video, William, to give people an idea about your conference. I do talk about it everywhere I go. I mentioned it to the video already.
Yeah,
we might even meet up in Ghana. See, this whole world. Michael, I fixed the link problem. I put the StreamYard link into the comments. So, Mr. Obehi, I see you. Who else do I see? I'm just have to make my screen bigger. Let this thing do itself. Okay. So, Mr. Obehi, I did see you a second ago. I'm so glad you're here. Our storytelling genius and also a very keen person about African affairs. He's got his new organization, We Diasporan. I'm sure you can get to know. It's bringing people together, people in the diaspora together, to support people and projects in Africa for sure, and to create some new, innovative ideas that we can implement. Welcome. So, Mark, you got no excuse now. So do join the stage. Look, now for me, mine's quite quick. I have. Oh no, mine's never quick. But my book. I'm looking at a different place. So I'm looking at myself on LinkedIn. Right, there's my book, Lessons Learned from COVID. See, the book I'm so proud of. Alas, William's book is here as well. Again, when I mention the books I work on, so many books to work through. No Human is Useless. That's William's beloved book. It is a great book to read. So you see, it's got that gold badge. It's a gold badge there, right? So here's my problem. Suddenly my screen is frozen, so I'm probably going to have to lose YouTube for a second. So when we come back and start the conversation properly about this issue of us scaling our business. In the meantime, William, tell us who you are, please. Give me a couple of minutes. So do talk to me about who you are and about the work you're doing. And I'll come back in a second.
Thank you very much, Annie. Good to see you, Davida. It's my first time seeing you. Happy to see you.
It's a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure.
Thank you. My name is William Planch, and I'm from Ghana, West Africa. And I am 9 times international bestseller of the book No Human is Useless. And I'm the founder of No Human is Useless. And reason why No Human is Useless is because it was a personal journey where growing up thinking after school, automatically I'm going to get a good job to do. And then I realized that it was not like that. The reality of life is not like that. So I end up going through a lot of struggles, pain, where at a point I felt my life had come to an end. But then that became a turning point for me by just one introduction. And so I use my story to help people who are going through depression to overcome it and let them know that gold is actually found in uncomfortable situations, in struggles, in pain, in situations where we feel our life has come to an end. So I have pictures to all the things I went through, living in the forest, coming back to going to the UK to pick up international awards, to becoming a bestseller, to be featured on the Times Square billboard. All these things didn't look like it. But then, because I gave myself one more day to try again, made it possible. And so I use my journey to help people overcome depression and let them know that suicide is never the option. All right. So, and gladly, I'm hosting my first ever event in Ghana this September, the No Human is Useless conference, where we are bringing together the youth to let them know that, it is really possible. So we are bringing speakers from the US, from the UK, and I'm sure Annie will be there too as well. Speakers who have gone through real life struggles, real life pain, that they'll be able to turn that into purpose. It's not about coming to read, it's about real stories that people have actually gone through. So we use that to empower these youth that regardless of what you're going through, you can still make it. All right. And I'm so happy that I finally secured the 2,500 seater capacity venue. Annie
Hey,
told me,
two,
and
two
Annie,
thousand, 2,000 or 1,000?
2,500.
Blind.
And my
Wow.
video on TikTok, my
That's
video on
big.
TikTok blew
That's
up,
huge.
blew up. Currently 108,000 people views, 500 DMs, people telling me they want to come to this conference. So it's exciting. It's exciting that I was scared about the venue, but I took your advice. You said we should take this one. I went back right after I was speaking to you. I went back to the people and I told them that, hey, look, this is going to benefit us. This is my story, and they gave me a huge discount. That is why I've been able to secure it. So I feel that don't let anything scare you, and that's what I'll share on this topic today. Don't let
Hmm.
anything scare you. Just go for it, try it again, and then it's possible for you to have it. And that has been one of our problems as Africans. That when they quote something, then we are scared. We don't want to try it again. But when you keep on
Mhm.
trying, there's always a way out. So I always say that anything that has a human being involved, there's always a way around it. So that's all about me. And any thank you for giving me this space.
Thank you. So I'm going to show the video of the venue. That way people can get an idea what 2,500, people venue looks like. It's a huge space. I'm
Wow.
nervous. I got to say, William, I'm nervous, but I'll get over it. I'll make sure I'm ready long before we get there. But
I'm
well done, you.
particularly I'm particularly excited that African youths are coming together not to discuss about who has the best jollof or to argue about Afro beats and Amapiano, but to talk about something but to talk about something that would move the continent further and make it better and a better place for us to enjoy. I mean, Amapiano and Afrobeat and jollof rice are still very important, but then these ones what we're discussing now are more crucial, are more sustainable, and it's bringing us to discuss and to form a union or to unite rather than tear each other up. Thank you very much, Williams. That's very good. I really appreciate your efforts.
Look, no, thank you for your kind words. I agree with you 100%. It is good. Look, jollof is very important. I mean, don't be like that, right?
Yeah, very
Egusi,
important.
I
Yes,
mean,
it's
food. You can't,
Banku
know.
is very important. Yeah.
I said I went to London last week, and literally now my biggest joy. I went to Nigerian restaurants with Coach David. The food was great, so I thought, let me buy takeaway, right? So, okay, I want a goosey and pounded yam, of course, as I would, right? And she says, "What meat do you want?" I'm like, "All of them," because she mentioned chicken, she mentioned oxtail, she mentioned assorted meat. I'm like, "I just want all of them." So I'm thinking they're going to be one pot, of meat, and that will be that, right? When I got back home, there was 5 different pots of meat. I'm like, wow, that I was truly in heaven. I can't say that. That's anyway. You don't know about me and Nigerian food, my friends. It is my Nigerian thing, and that's my biggest Nigerian side. Otherwise I'm British most of the time, and I'm even Ghanaian half the time. William, I'll tell you why in good time. When I'll tell your audience, they'll be like, "You really
Okay.
Ghanaian?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Wow.
Yeah. Now, even you didn't know that, right?
Oh,
I
Or,
mean,
or, or, or will be explained. Look, coming back to the point of your work and how it ties into today's conversation, William. You see, I think I do. I say part of me, I understand the issues we have around practicalities, around infrastructure, and the road's not good, electric's not good. I get all that. Now, money's hard to come by. No, it's not. Money's hard to come by. They keep saying, right? So part of me really believes change for us is, it starts within. It's not practical things that are stopping us. I think it's our minds that are stopping us. I truly believe that. Now, I'd love to hear you two's thoughts. Look, we need to learn more. We need to learn to compete on a global scale. So many people have ideas to build a business as African, but maybe not just as Africans, around the world over. People want to build a business, right? And then when they realize the reality of building a business, the fact that you have to learning, keep investing your time, your efforts, keep dreaming, keep planning, keep innovating. All these things that we need to do, we don't do. We seem to create a business and then hope to live off that business forever, for the rest of our lives. Almost as if time has stopped because we started a business. That's not how it happens, right? I think we need to understand the realities of building a business, and a lot of it is in our heads. So when it comes to scaling simply means that we do everything on a bigger scale. Our operations are bigger. We have more. We have staff. Number one, we have more staff, more capacity. We have more resources. We have more and bigger goals to serve more people. Again, these are things I think we need to be thinking about and doing. But it all starts within. It all starts in our minds. The way we tend to want to be, from my experience of living in Nigeria, is simply that we want to complain, as David mentioned and alluded to just now. We want to complain about what we don't have, what's not working. Whereas I think we need to change that way of being into looking at what we do have, what we can do, with what we have, where we can start. I think these are the things I would like us to, I guess, work around today. If that's all right with those, those on stage, those who are here. Of course, you're welcome to join us on stage. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Everyone in the audience, don't be shy. We are just human, and we are just sharing some of our thoughts. That's William's video. That's playing in the background. So, Davida, I wonder what your thought is. What is stopping us growing our businesses?
Thank you very much, Emmy. Permit me, I've been writing on my screen, so I'll be reading from my screen. So first off, I really love to address issues from its foundation, from its roots. And if we want to look at the root of this conversation, I would start by asking, why scaling? Do we need to scale, or do we want to scale? Do we think we need it or we want it? Do we have what made us want to consider scaling? As Africans, do we actually enjoy scaling? Our average mindset over the years have been limiting, and I mean self-limiting. If you check 95% of areas where Africans have scaled before, you would trace it to the fact that some other person scaled and they saw it as a possibility to scale. So I think that we must start by asking ourselves the question, do we need it? Do we want it? Do we actually need or want it? Are we trying to be copycats? Have we found the need for a thing? Using Nigeria as an example, one of the states that is known for being very industrious is the state in the east, I think Anambra State. And I remember once upon a time, some persons were discussing, I was not part of that conversation, and somebody said they are from that region. And somebody had said that people from this Anambra state, mind you, the persons discussing are all Igbos. For those, our international viewers, Igbos is one of the major tribes in Nigeria, and they are the predominantly in the southeast. So if these are Igbos from different states and they were conversing, and this person says, I don't do business with Anambra person because they are too desperate. They can do anything for money and they are not trustworthy. And the other person asked, but why are Anambaras like that? If you do business with Igbo people from other states, they are more truthful than Anambarians. Why are they like that? And the Anambra person responded and he said, their states do not have large land. They do not have agricultural, arable land. They are one of the smallest states in Nigeria, one. Secondly, a huge part of their land is given to erosion and all of the challenges that you could have with lands. Large part of the land highly eroded. And then he said, what he said now, what I'm about to say was what got my attention. He said, when they come to township to do business, and they remember that if this business doesn't work, they have no alternative. In other words, you can't go back to the village and farm. You do not have any other resort like other people from their region. So somebody from Enugu or Ebonyi can go back and farm, and then they export what they farm. I mean, they sell what they farm and have yield. So when they remember that they do not have what to run back to the village for, then they tell themselves they have to do all they have to do for this business to work. And that gives me a picture of what the average African looks like. We seem to be very contented with vanity, with nothing. With sometimes what we're even posing about is a joke. So we do not even think scaling. An average African starts a business, the father hands over to the son hands over to his brother. And the way they do the business, you just know that as they do the business like, if I have food, if I have water, if I have a car to drive, then I'm fine. So I think that we should first of all start addressing the fact that we need to understand why we do what we do. Do we need to scale? If we need to scale, why do we need to scale? If we answer these questions, then it would affect our thought pattern, because the way we do what we do, it's a thought pattern thing. And I love that today's conversation is not just around business, but we also have professionals in there. Because in this part of the world, you have professionals who do their profession as though, I don't want to use a derogatory word. I mean, people come to work, someone comes to work late, 1 hour late, and then heads for the canteen, the cafeteria. And she says, I came late and I need to eat. And the person eats for another 1 hour and 2 hours is gone. And the same person is not very excited that the person's salary has not been reviewed, because we do not have the mindset to work. We do not understand why diligence in the place of work can affect every other aspect of our lives. Because if you take another man's business for levity, trust me, you subconsciously treat your life that way. And until we come to a point where we understand why we should scale, why we need to scale, then we're not going to do anything much. Have Africans scaled anywhere before? Yes, we have. Look at the music industry. I mean, with Afrobeats. Some 20 years ago, if you wanted to hear a good music, if you were in a club or in a party, it's 10 over 10 foreign music. But at what point did we start having in fact, we didn't even listen to our music, but now foreigners are listening to our music. Rema was invited to India. Davido is around the world. Burna Boy is around the world. So how could we scale in entertainment and not in science and technology? And trust me, it's a trend, because this is not just about Africa in Africa, Africans in Africa. If you look at the Western world, the top tier guys in entertainment and sports are Africans, ranging from basketball, the Michael Jordan, ranging from music, the Beyoncés, the Rihannas. They are Americans or British of African origin. So it looks like there is something that tells us, or there's a mindset that makes us choose where we want to scale, choose the area we enjoy, and that becomes where we shine our light. And until we make the continent understand why other areas are scalable and why we need to scale those areas, every other complaint will be inconsequential. And trust me, I beg to differ. Infrastructure and roads is the least problem we have with scaling. I beg to differ, and I can prove it. The day Africans want to scale their business, the road will be the least of their problem. I mean, I'm in this country, Nigeria, where somebody can celebrate their birthday with over 50 million. And I mean, I'm not talking of stolen money. I mean, someone who has worked hard and have earned income. I mean, in a country where Davido can, on a good day, see someone who scores his song very well online and give the person a gift of a $30,000 or a $3,000 or something of that sort. The day we come to realize that this infrastructure is necessary for what we want to scale on, then the way we have collectively built our Afrobeats, we will do it without the government. The only reason why we're calling the government and calling all of these other things now is because we have not seen why we need to scale, especially in business and entrepreneurship. I'll come back to this, but let me give other persons time to talk.
This is why I love David on stage for sure. Look, many honest things you say. Maybe it's a symptom of our youth that we tend to go with the things that are entertainment or sports as a thing we want to be known for. But we all know there's brains in Africa as well. There's people who actually building businesses. They are using technology. They're creating new solutions. So I'd say it's not bemusing. It is. I think it's a mistake. We need to. We do need to come around to doing everything. So again, when I got on here a few years ago, every African on here was a content writer. You and William are not content writers. Now, of course, being Nigerian, David, we can write content every day, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure William could too, right? We do know how to write content. I'm sure.
The love rice is a good content topic.
But I mean, we're a lot more. And but saying, I think you have a point. We're not willing to learn the hard stuff. Of course, and I'm not going to ignore your first question. Why do we want to scale? Do we need to scale? Yes. Yes. We can try and be kind, David. Say to people, you know what? As long as you're making money, you're fine. You're not fine. If you're not growing, you're dying. That's the truth.
Absolutely.
In business, if you're not growing, you're literally dying on your feet. So we do need to scale. We need to create more. We need to. It's not create more. We need to be more. We need to be better. Not try and take life easy. Not try and be comfortable. There's no comfortable will come later on. When you get to it was no elumelu stage where you're one of the richest people in the world. Then you can relax. Even then, so that's because you have people working for you. Doing the work, so there's no relaxing in business. You have to keep going.
And that's where I'm going, because we defined our relaxation, and that has been the problem. For some person, managing 10 businesses is relaxation. For another person, managing 15 more businesses is relaxation. Why for some other person, doing a business is a nightmare? And we have subconsciously raised our children this way. Our parents have raised us this way, and we're raising our children the same way. And until we alter the standards we've created, we will really have problems. The areas where we are thriving, the Afrobeat areas, the basketball and sport areas. Check the guys that are in those areas. They are not resting.
Mm.
Their definition of relaxation is what an average African calls stress. But they know what they want to achieve with it, and they put in the work to do it. I mean, Davido can travel to 25 countries in 2 months. Now, tell an average businessman that he has to travel to 23 local government areas to
Mm.
do his business and see the reaction. See,
It's a
because they
no.
will call it,
The
it's
answer
a
is no.
no.
It's a no.
So I'm calling our attention to a
Mm.
mindset that have grown over generations. And until we come to a point where that mindset is checked, I mean, I have not been on the call for months. And the reason was because I changed location, I changed job, I was traveling to that job, going 3 hours, going to work 2 hours, returning 3 hours. So 5 hours on the road average. Sometimes I return maybe 4 hours. On a very bad day, it's 5 hours. I know, I mean, it's a good reason not to do so for health reason and all that. But I know what I want to get. I know what I wanted to learn from that industry. I know the softwares I wanted to learn, and that paying for them will not give me the knowledge like working with them. And I was willing to go through that stress for that season. And trust me, I have reaped it. Today, I'm employable for a multinational fintech space in Nigeria. And that was because I allowed myself to go through the stress of doing that job that time. Now, so the laws of success are even in every sector. Imagine that I said I'm not willing to do any job that will take me more than 30 minutes to go to work and come back. At this stage that I am, I can do so. My former role didn't give me the luxury of a remote work, but where I work currently, I come to work once in a week. I work remotely. But the only reason why I can enjoy this was because I had gone through the dirty stuff. I have gone through the challenges of commuting to work 5 days in a week, 5 hours in a day. But what we want as average Africans is to wake up and Tony Elumelu gives you the key to his enterprise, or Dangote gives you the key. Some people even put it on social media that they just wish now that their parents tell them that you are the adopted child of Tony Elumelu. I picked you from an orphanage. And then they then do the DNA test and they realize that that orphanage, it was Tony Elumelu's ex-girlfriend that gave birth to the child. And then they would do. So people make fun of these things and it looks funny, but it unveils the shape of our hearts. How that we are a people that have grown to look for luck more than work. And trust me, every luck that is not sustained with work is workless, is luckless, because very soon you will lose it all.
That is so well said. It really is. Luck without work is, it doesn't work at all, right? Elaine, welcome, Elaine. Elaine says, "Wow, Davida, you're an old soul. I tell you, when I met her, 2 years ago, maybe it's been
Thank you
three
so
years
much.
ago.
Yeah.
She's an old soul on the younger head, amazingly. So she's that person. Dr. Lisa, I see you. Welcome. If I miss you out, please drop us a comment so we know you're here. I can't welcome you otherwise. So I can do my best only if you make a comment. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I realized I shared the wrong StreamYard link, so hence I'm gonna have to reshare the right link with people. William, I wonder what you think. Of course, in the context of No Human is Useless work, I think I wonder what maybe it's nice. What would you like us to be saying to your young people? What are you going to be telling them in terms of how big they can dream, how big they can be, how much they can actually achieve?
Thank you, Annie. First of all, I just want to say I love what Davida shared. It's brilliant. So brilliant. So thank you for sharing that. And yeah, for me, I'll still circle around the mindset, Annie, which is a big problem for us. I have been a victim, but now I'm trying to change. Example, me having this event, No Human is Useless, when I had the idea in January, I was like, how am I going to do this? There was no means. Honestly, it's not like I had some money packed down there that I'm going to use to have this event. But this thing was really hitting me from within. All right, you need to do this, William. You need to do this. I had no idea how it's going to happen. Then I created a flyer. I started sharing. LinkedIn, I always share stories, write content, and I was like, okay, let me leverage on that. I had a flyer and I shared it. And I said, no Human is Useless is coming out. I didn't put any date to it because I had no idea how it's going to happen. Then I found people interested. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be amazing. Then I saw the interest. Then I spoke to a friend of mine I knew in the US that, hey, you know what, can we do this crowdfunding and see if you can raise money for this? Because and people were putting in $10, $5. It wasn't encouraging. One day I woke up and I saw $1,000 in it. Then I went to look at the person who did that research and sent him a message that, hey, thank you so much. Apparently, this man is somebody I don't know from anywhere. He's based in the Saudi Arabia. I don't know from anywhere. But he said to me that, William, don't thank me. This is an amazing project you're doing. No Human is Useless. I couldn't see this and just pass by without putting in money into it. William, call on me anytime you need support and I'm going to support you. This is from a total stranger, okay? But this wouldn't have happened if I hadn't started out with a flyer to share the post. If I had this in my mind and kept it in my mind like this dream wouldn't come to pass. But when I took a step to start a flyer, send a post, talk to few people I know who had interest in it, this is what is happening. All right. Now the crowdfunding went, and then we've had enough money to secure the venue. Now, one thing about the venue, when I saw the venue, I went there to ask for the cost of it. They mentioned 50,000 cedis. That 50,000 cedis can buy my small car that I'm using. I was like, come on, I can't do this. But I really wanted a place. I went into the place to feel the place. I went into the auditorium, stood on the stage, and was talking to myself. I want this place. I want this place, God. But within my pocket, I didn't have that amount. All right. So I came back, went to look for another space that can take just 300 people. A hotel that can just take 300 people. I was like, okay, let me just take this. It's my first time. 300 is not bad. You see, and that's the mindset. I was thinking low for myself because I feel I can't do the bigger space. Oh, let me take this for. Then I had a conversation with Annie, and I showed Annie the video of the new auditorium, the bigger one. And then he said, this is doable. We can do this. We can do this, William. In my head, I was like, Annie, you are in the UK, and then when you change your small pounds, it's big money, so you think we can do it. You're just saying this. But for me here, it's not doable. But I slept over it, and I went back to the people again. But this time around, I went to the letter that, hey, this is my story. I have gone to live in the forest, and I've come back because I was depressed. I thought everything has ended for me. But I've been able to come out of it. I've traveled to the UK to pick awards, being Best International Author, being featured on the Times Square billboard. And I see these young men going through the same thing I went through. It's like a chain that when you're growing in Africa, you need to pass through these things. And people are taking their life because of this. This is my story. I show them pictures to what I've been through. And funny enough, they have also been through similar challenge like mine. And they were rather telling me their story. I'm like, okay, so you see, we've all been through this. And the people in this church are also going through, the youth are going through this thing. So this program is going to help all of us. All right, this is my letter. This is how much I can afford. So please help me, sponsor me. I'm going to put your name attached to it that you are sponsoring me. So sponsor me and let's get this done. Then they took pictures of my letter. They said, okay, I'm going to hear from them. A week later, I followed back again, and they said, okay, they are taking about 50% they slashed it into two. They're taking 50% of the cost and make me pay. I need to add extra 5,000 to the amount I proposed. All right. And then they gave me an invoice, and this is happened. 2,500 seater. And you will show the video so that you get to look, you get to see the place. And this is world class. This is a world class venue where people who are coming out would see that, people coming from the US, UK, when they get on this stage, they are going to say, yes, we've actually made this happen. All right. I'm saying this because my mindset was poor, very poor, as many of us who are here in Africa, that I can't afford this. I can't do this because I was scared about the amount that was quoted. Mind you, I was on a Times Square billboard. I paid nothing. I paid nothing to be on the Times Square billboard. And it's not for free. But I paid nothing because I had a story that I shared to the right people who needed to hear the story. And they featured me there. I went to the UK for the Caribbean Global Awards. I won it, not because I paid money, because I had a story, I was sharing it, and it got to the right people. So I got invited. All right. So I think all boils down to the mindset. When you say you can't do it, that is it. You can actually do it. But when you say you want it and you want to do it, since there are human beings involved in it, and you are also a human being, there's always a way around it. There's always a way around it. Money is just paper. When there's a human being involved, is how you talk to them, what you have in your hands that you want to give to them to receive something in return. Transaction is not all about money. Sometimes it's what you have inside of you. Your story needs to be heard. And that's how it works. So I feel that it is the mindset. And I agree with Annie, it's just the mindset. Everything is possible. And today I'm saying next year that after Ghana, I am taking this event to the UK. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know with right people like Annie and some few calls, some few emails that we'll send, it's definitely going to happen. And then from UK, we'll take it all over the world. And that is what I want to do. And that's my mindset right now. I'm throwing away the bad mindset. And this mindset is not our fault. It is when we're growing up, what our parents were telling us. When you go to school, automatically you're going to be first. You used to be first in class, and that will guarantee a job. And I was first in class, and I had no job. All right. Some parents will tell you, oh, who actually made it compulsory that you need to retire at 60? You need to wait till 60 before you retire. Who made that? Who made that notion for us? And some people are still living by it. I was talking to an old man who is building his house, and he was telling me, okay, he's not yet 60. He retires at 60, so there's more time. There's more time to complete the building. Meanwhile, you can do that at age 45. But it's a societal. It has been an implant when we are growing up. So we grow up with it, and then it's very difficult to drop it. And I think that's what we need to do. Now we need to learn, relearn, and unlearn. And like I read a post on social media that now in our days currently, illiteracy is not somebody who cannot read and write, but is the one who has refused to learn, relearn, and unlearn. And that's who are illiterators. Now people who cannot read are doing amazing things. All right. So I think it's all about our mindset. And when we have a positive mindset, anything we want to do, so far as we've seen human beings do them, we are also human beings. We can also do it and do it better. So thank you for having me, Annie.
Thank you for an amazing share. Sarah says your cause is worthy. You can count on me in Manchester, UK too. Welcome, Sarah, our podcast genius. And Cyrus is publishing his first 2 books as we speak. So 2 more on this list. So look, it's simple. Michael and I were in a masterclass this morning. So I could say last night or this morning, a few hours ago, right? And so now the coach was basically saying, the way we think and what we think is who we become. That's the thing, right? Because when we talk mindset, people think we're just saying think positively. We're not. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it wrong. That's not what mindset means. Even positivity doesn't mean that, right? So what we're talking about really, is the ability to aim high, but also be willing to be that person that does that thing. That means you have to do the work it takes. William is not just hoping for a big venue and sitting back and relaxing. William's out there making those calls, making it happen. It's arranging the speakers. I'm saying, everything, we still have to work to make our mindset vision become a reality. I think I don't know whether there's a gap between there's a gap. It's not I don't know. There is a gap between what people think, as the video was asking. What's your why? Why do you want to scale? Do you really want to scale? Do you really? If you do, it's not just a thought. It becomes your way of life to do the work it takes. I think there's no, something's missing there somewhere. Now, many people want, but they're not willing to do the work it takes. Anyway, let's hear from Michael. Michael, I wonder what your thought is on our topic. Michael, you're still muted.
Sorry about that. Hold on a second. Yeah, sorry about that.
Cool,
Been
cool. Share with us
I was,
now.
I was I was busy.
What's your thoughts? What is stopping us scaling? As Africans, and let me say this. This isn't okay, controversial, but I might as well say it. This is not just a problem in Africa, by the way.
Absolutely.
This is a black people problem across the world. We have to realize. I have to say that. To Africans who have business abroad have the same issue, and it comes down to
Mhm.
that mindset thing that William was talking about just now. Michael,
Mhm.
now what's your take, my friend?
All right. William said something very interesting. Um, and I know that all of you
Speak a bit
have
louder if you can, please.
William said something very interesting, and all of you have been hinting on this in one way, shape, form, or another. And I'll break it down like this. Human desire is driven by exchange of ideas and dreams. The value of ideas and dreams is greater than paper money.
Mhm.
It's greater than paper money. True visionaries know and understand this. And visionaries are all over the world, and they can be poor, they can be rich, extremely rich, they can be anybody. But if they see an idea and a dream that is well worth chasing and well worth promoting, they will do it at no cost to you. Why? Because they know the value of that idea and that dream. So you guys have been actually speaking of this, and you know and you understand this. Now, now let's. This is in general. Africans need to understand this, and they need to understand that there is no need. Their ideas and their dreams is what they need to focus on. Bring those out of themselves and make them and manifest, make them a reality. Literally, make them a reality. Money is hard to come by, and he said this earlier, and I'm going to expand on that. And that is because we as Africans are busy chasing poverty, literally.
Thank you. Thank
Okay, knowing big things and having big things. We don't need to do that. We need to have the capacity to change our attitude towards work. Okay, this copycat mentality that was mentioned earlier by, I think it was Davido, instead of innovating, is a lazy mindset that chases poverty. And I believe, Annie, we've spoken about this way back when in one of your, um, in the past, we've actually mentioned this before, but it has been made very much more poignant by Davido as an issue that we need to tackle. Okay? We have a tendency on focusing on other people's goods instead of focusing on our own lands and harnessing the goods out of our own lands that we reside on, the
you.
property that we reside in. We have a tendency of wanting to go to somebody else's land and making things work there because they seem to be doing things and fashioning things out of instead of working on our own land. Literally, people from Cameroon would go into Ghana seeking work instead of staying in their own land. And they've got beautiful land. It's great. And I'm like, what do you really need to survive? All you're interested in, you should be interested in, is eating. Because really, that's what you need to do. And then from there, you can figure things out later on. But please, till your land, grow your food on your own land, instead of leaving it over there for for no reason. And going to Ghana, and then on top of that, making yourself hungry, on top of that, making yourself poor. In other words, you're chasing poverty. You're actually literally basically chasing poverty while you're doing that. And so it boggles the mind actually watching you do this. And it boggles the mind you telling me that you can't do it because of the reasons your ancestors or your cousins will get angry, or those, because you're using the land that you all own to create food for yourself to survive. How can they be angry about that? It doesn't make any sense to me. And quite literally, people just they jump into it, and it's like 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 William was saying, we need a change in mindset, complete change in mindset. And because if we choose to remain the way we are and not taking appropriate action to change our mindsets, therefore the dividends that we seek after, as a respect of changing our mindsets, will never come to us. We just end up defeating ourselves. Like one of you said, you defeat yourself by saying you can't do it. And that was William, I believe. You defeat yourself by saying you can't do it. Really, that is true. Okay, we have a propensity of losing focus because we have seen that mediocre gains are success. No, mediocre gains are not success. You have to really work hard, and then from there build on that success, and then build on top of that, and then build on top of that. We are lazy people. Mediocre success, we think it's fine, and so we relax, and then we become complacent, and then that is also us chasing poverty, but just doing that by relaxing and then becoming complacent. What are we doing? We're chasing poverty. One of you said something also interesting, and I believe it was DeVito. We have gone from people that we have gone from a people that look for work to a people that look for luck. Instead, we are finding poverty, and that is a very real thing. That's exactly who we are right now. Changing our mindset is very necessary in order to be able to do that. And I have examples. Like, for instance, in Uganda, the propensity of laziness is incredible. On the job, you actually make an excuse to get off work to go to a funeral. And it doesn't matter whose funeral it is, so long as you're going to a funeral that somebody died, yeah, we're going to go to the funeral. That one died, yeah, we're going to go to that funeral. These funerals take about 4 to 6 hours, even an entire day, even maybe 2 days at a funeral. So you're off work for that long. Can you imagine? And then there are times people don't even go to the funeral. They have other things that they do. Instead of going to the funeral, they go and do this. Instead of going to the funeral, they go and do that. To do something else. Go to the restaurant and eat. Go and do something that is not related to work. But the thing is, that's a propensity of laziness. Ugandans love going to funerals as an excuse to get off work. This is a huge trend. It's a trend. It's fashionable. You can imagine we're making laziness fashionable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Any you have opened
Mm-hmm.
some sort of Whopper scan here.
Mm-hmm.
It's fact. In Africa, that's what we do, and we do that a lot. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of us are doing that, and we're passing it on to our children.
Yes.
And then when our children tell us, "But you're doing this and you're doing that," we get upset, and we what do? We become ridiculable in giving them our peace of mind with respect to this is our culture, this is what we do. And you better change that in our future. That culture has to change. You cannot do that to the children. And then the children turn around and they say, but this is our culture. This is what we do. This is normal. Like, excuse me? The people that know that this is not normal are those that have left Africa and gone and worked where? Outside of Africa. And then they see for themselves that it's not normal, you know. But then they go back and we have a tendency to um, then we send money back home. About $91 billion worth of money has been sent by diaspora to Africa every year. 91, and then and climbing. There's more that it's 91 billion. And then because of corruption, um, Africa loses 191 billion. So out of 191 billion, our 91 billion is paying for half of that loss due to corruption. So you're remaining with what 100 billion that actually goes into that's lost as a result of corruption. So our net gain is absolutely nothing. We're actually losing. It's a losing battle, big time. We've got to change that. Those numbers are real and they hurt, and that's why I say we're chasing poverty. That's a very. I mean, I've never. That is just so negative. It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's literally unbelievable. How how could you say? How could you be proud and say we are a country and we are sovereign with that kind of a loss? I'm looking at Nigeria and I'm looking at the losses upon losses upon losses upon losses. And within my lifetime, Nigeria used to be a top country, much better than the Europeans in terms of GDP, etc., etc. The way these Europeans count it used to be much better. But now, I mean, I cry for Nigeria. I really cry. It's it's extreme, and that's why Eni is migrating to Ghana. Go figure. I don't blame any for that. He
And
migrated to
he's
the
coming for the
UK and now
conference.
he's migrating to Ghana. Can you imagine?
He, he's coming for the conference and go back.
Hey. Anyway,
No, you know what, William? My son might stay. You know that's a weirdism. He's definitely become Ghanaian. You know, when you meet him, you know why I say. You know, you see for yourself, right? You know, Cyrus, I hear you. Says well said, Michael. Truly, poverty is not genetic. Definitely not. But it gets passed on from one generation to the next, not through genes, but through mindset. Exactly that, Cyrus. This is our
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
look. So, Michael, you made many, many good things you say for sure, right? I think just picking a couple. Yeah, I think maybe now the answer I was looking for today is simply that many of our entrepreneurs they've forgotten the reason for being, as David mentioned right at the beginning, right? They've forgotten the reason they're doing what they're doing.
Mm.
It's not for money. It's not for success.
Mm-hmm.
Money will come. I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee money. We know money will come, especially when you have a solution that people want, that people need. Right? Money will come. That's a given.
Yeah.
I think we've lost our way a bit. As Michael was alluding to, as Michael touched on very well. We seem to be chasing something apart from the reason for doing business. The reason you create a business is because you want to help your community. Start there. We've missed that point completely. That's just gone out the window. We don't seem to understand. That's what we have to start, right? Help your community. And like I always say, if you help your community, you never starve. You will never starve. But what happens from there is that you build a better solution with time, because you keep improving your solution, right? And with time, you can reach out to take your solution to wider lands, whether that's a diaspora, next state, next town. So we seem to have just missed that the whole point of us being in business. Unless we return to that sense of purpose,
Thank you. That's the
we're,
word.
we're going nowhere at all. Because nothing works, and if we miss that point, right? If we don't
The word.
come back to that reality, we just we start a business. Okay, so when it gets hard, suddenly we're like, oh, I don't fancy that anymore. I'm gonna do something else. Even worse, do what Michael says, literally defaults to humanity's lazy state. And everything we built before that suddenly goes out the window. It's gone, right? We do have to. I think we have to reimagine business. If you ask me, Davido, I wonder what you think.
Thank you so much, Annie. And Michael, thank you so much. I mean, you drew so many lines that we should fit in and start analyzing from. I had just been looking for the best or the most polite way to say that we, as a black race, we are plagued with idleness, laziness. It's a plague here. And somehow it's traceable to the reason why we thrive only in entertainment and football. Because to some extent, we start that as most of them don't start it off as a business, but because it's an opportunity to while away time, and then we see that money comes from it, which is not a bad idea. But if we're not deliberate around speaking to hard work, for instance, he said something very keen. One of the best universities in Nigeria at this time is Covenant University. It happens to be counted as, I think, top 100 universities in Africa. And it also met the top 50, top 100 universities in the world. A student was expelled from that school. And what was the reason? The mother came to sign an exit permit for the boy to go attend his elder sister's wedding 1 week to the exams. And the registrar gave an instruction that if for any reason this person leaves the school, he should not come back. And for a reason or two, they felt that they knew the people that be, and the guy went for the wedding ceremony. As soon as he came back, he was asked to leave the school. And I mean, it created some persons were of the opinion that that was too harsh, that was naughty, that was just being. But what the school was trying to communicate is that at this stage of your life, priorities must be very crucial to you. We are a group of people that do not understand priority. We just have everything in one box and we expect things to work. And things don't work that way. And unfortunately, that is why even our gospel is weak, because we see the Western world or certain persons who understand the principles of life, who are hardworking with their hands, making a better life than people who go to church. And trust me, I'm a faith person and I believe in Jesus and I believe in faith. But you see, that era of faith where people go to church to stay from morning till night, do no work, pray and abide, is sponsored by laziness. Because even the Bible is clear about working hard. Jesus said, my father work, hitherto I work. Jesus was a carpenter at the time. Paul was also a craftsman. So we are plagued with laziness and we look for anything we can to wear it a beautiful clothes and call it another thing. Whereas if we undress this thing, it is a laziness problem. So in a nutshell, one of the reasons why our businesses and our professions are not scalable is because we are lazy. As HR, I have lots of people come to me on LinkedIn, and somebody send me a message. Oh, I need a job. I've gotten this certification, or I have this qualification. Can you help me? Can you recommend me for a job? And sometimes that person is saying it at the exact time when another person is saying, please, I need an administrator, I need a salesperson, I need someone to do this. And then I communicate this person that I need to recommend you for a role, but I need to know I need to know the stuff you're made of because my reputation is at stake. So I'm fixing a call. Let's have a meeting by 2 p.m. and let me have a pre-interview with you so we have a discussion and I know which role you fit into. So I'm not telling them that there's a role already, but I just want to know, do you know that most times they don't even meet with the time, the punctuality to have the conversation for the job? They don't meet with it. Isn't that sad? Now you're jobless and you're not punctual. So when you have a job, how will you be punctual? And they don't even think it's a problem. So I'm supposed to recommend you to somebody when you're meeting with me, you are not even punctual. Some persons will miss the meeting 4 times with no tangible reason. How should I recommend such a person for a job? And that person is still in church, casting and binding, uprooting, denouncing, dethroning every demonic powers fighting against their productivity. Of course, they are the weapons fashioned against themselves. So we have a mindset. And it's sad because this mindset has eaten through the fabric of our continent, of our race. And you see it everywhere. You see professionals, science students working in scientific environments in areas where 0.01 centimeter error can cause the destruction of a system. And you see people compromise quality health and safety standards in a way that you're wow. And they'll say things like, God will take care of the rest. What? You see, in the health space, where you know the SOP for which this test should be run, you know the electricity voltage for which you should have when you want to have a successful surgery, or when you want to intubate a patient, or when you want to sterilize some equipment, and you hear something like the security man sold half of this diesel. So a procedure is going on and we are running low on diesel and want to pour in diesel so that there's life sustained. And you hear something like the security man sold the diesel. Why did he sell the diesel? He said his phone is shaking, so he wants to get a new phone. And then you sold the diesel that was supposed to be used in a health center to save lives. And now you have a quality health and safety person whose job was supposed to ensure that you have the right amount of diesel before any procedure starts. And that one says, I've been doing it before, it will be there. And they didn't care. Or they even knew that the diesel was not adequate. And they say something like, God will take care of the rest. NEPA will not take lights. The light will be available. So you see, we are people that have grew into chance. And we want life to continue that way. And we want to compete with the other part of the world where they have not left their life to chance. You know the bad thing? Now, when these people take good care of their countries, then we start flooding there and polluting their environment with our mindset. And we are wondering why Kemi is angry with us. We are wondering why some persons are saying reduce the number of immigrants in our country. And you're angry with her, but why couldn't you make your own country a good place for people to come to stay? Because this mindset places us in a circle and we keep going around. And until we come to the point where we identify that we are the problems, we won't go anywhere. Because we have a category of Africans that think that our biggest problems are the colonial masters, are the white guys. Why they may have had their part to play, I tell you, the day we decide that we want to solve our problems, we'll get our problems solved. And that will start with managing our mindset for where we want to be and dealing with the plague of laziness. Thank you, Amy.
I'm very aware that any talk about mindset, you know, does not mean that luck thing that you and Michael mentioned today. No one who's successful built their success on luck. No one. No one. No one. Sarah was mentioned in the comments that cash is the poorest form of wealth. The money is just paper, right? I'm saying people who get money the way some people think it's all about money, they end up losing all of it. I think of those who win the lottery, it might win millions. But it goes. It's out the window. It's gone sooner or later, right? So I think it's understanding that we need to build something sustainable. I say again, that's sustainable thing means giving value. It means giving people an answer to their problems. And God knows we have enough problems in Africa. God, we've got enough problems. There's many things that could be invented, created, even refined. Things that exist now that can be refined. And maybe call it Africanized. But said now that this mindset that we're talking about, now to me is also the same drive to learn, to improve, to seek, to do more, to serve more, make the world a better place, as Michael alluded to earlier on, right? I think that when we now, of course, as you're working towards William, so when we
The
understand,
universe.
yeah, but when we understand, this drive that we need to make the world a better place, and again, I'm thinking of William's event now, what to say to these kids. Look, we're all gifted. I think again, we seem not to understand this. We're all gifted. Look, let me step back 1 second, right? See, we have a huge advantage that the rest of the world never had. I tell you what that advantage is, my friends. We are talking about mindset now. I'm 50, right? Well, now, when I was up until 3 years ago, my friend, I never heard of the word mindset. Never heard of it. Never crossed my mind. I didn't have a clue what it was. Whereas now we know that is, it's almost is a cheat that we need that all humans need. Those who learn mindset. And if you talk to anyone who's successful, my friends, now I've talked to a good few people in marketing, in business, and when you ask them how do you get there, they give you the same answer. It's your mindset. They think the right things, and look where they are today. They're there to dream. They're there to do. Look where they are today. Does that sound simple? Yes, but now, is it simple? Probably not. But without the way of thinking, without having a positive approach to life and to what we can achieve, we get nowhere. I said, and again, we don't seem to we're not are we capitalizing on that knowledge? What? Of course, some are obviously, right. Some people are there. Some people know. Some people are doing well. We could all do a lot more. I think is my point. Obehi, thank you so much for being here, my friend. So I would love to hear your thoughts on our topic. Yeah, Joni says, "Hey, Amy, just supporting you guys. I'm about to move to Africa because I should have been born there. I have batteries if anyone needs them." And yes, making light of a serious situation. Michael showed me someone who invented electric from plants the other day. Remember that, Michael?
Oh
Where's
yeah.
that? Where
Oh
has
yeah.
that idea gone? I'm saying,
No.
we can power cars, with oil. Where did those ideas go? Where do those ideas die? Why do they die? This is my frustration, right?
They're not dead. I've actually expanded on that. Um, there is a doctor who's indicated that the electricity running through your body is the charge that's coming from the earth, and he proved it by putting a electric meter into the no, yeah, using an electric meter, putting one probe into the ground, and then having a student of his holding the other probe, and the student was to move was supposed to move from, first of all, have his shoes on, and then measure the electricity. There was nothing running through him. Take his shoes off and stand on the concrete barefoot. Then electricity did start. There was a small amount, but you could see there was it was big enough to say, hey, there's electricity running through this guy. And then him standing, getting off of the concrete and standing on the earth or the ground or the grass, and there was a lot more electricity running through him when he did that. So, what does that tell you about power? You can harness power from the earth itself, electrical power. You do not need to actually, you know, generate electricity using the water or anything like that. Those are just mechanisms, ways of actually doing it. You just have to figure out a process of how you're going to generate power and power your house using the earth, the ground. Put a couple of copper wires in there and run them over to the light bulb. There's your electricity. The light
Look,
bulb will shine, will light up.
there's a lot
You
of
could
things that
actually
we.
you could actually power up a battery.
Hmm.
You know, that's how you can power up a battery, and then use the battery to light up your house when you come back home from wherever you come from your day's work, whatever you want to
How
do.
about
But
how
it's
about government
possible.
policies? Government policies, how do they affect this? I know that in Nigeria, we're not allowed, no one is allowed to generate electricity um, aside the government, or just in recent, I don't know if they've signed
Government
it to bill.
policies are made by man.
Mm,
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 mm.
Man is
true.
faulty in creating those. And why does man do that? And why do they have the government policies are like that? I can point to colonialism, but I can also point to stupidity. Okay?
Yeah,
So get the
That was
stupid
ignorance,
out
lack
of
of
you
knowledge.
and fix yourself. Because
Mm,
damn it, it's existential.
mm.
If you want to die, freaking go ahead and die and not do nothing.
Look,
If you
Michael,
want to
I
live,
agree.
then do something.
This is existential because I think we're missing the opportunity that we've been given. Again, this is not man-made. This is from the God. This is divine inspiration that we have, divine gifts that we have. No human is useless, says William, for a reason. If only we could tap. I mean, look, I'll never understand why we're not the geniuses of solar energy. Why would we not be leading the world on solar? I mean, Africa has more sunshine than anywhere else, right? Why are we not tapping into that? Why are we still talking about NEPA? My God, NEPA was a problem when I was a kid. I'm 50. This can't carry on again. Dr. Leslie, I'll come back to you. I'll come to you in a second, my friend. I'm so glad you're here. Give me a couple of minutes. Let me show William's event. So, no, I don't like to show things last minute. So let me show William's venue then to give you an idea. I'll also show you some of his sponsorship packages in case maybe anyone knows. Okay, let me try this. Let me say this properly. So one thing I think William could benefit from is showcasing African businesses that really want to support children and young people and the development. So we want sponsors for William's event. Now the sponsorship packages, if you know any African entrepreneur who might want to be associated with William's event, William's conference, then please do get in touch with him and connect them. Say, this is a well organized event. Everything is on paper and documented. So, whatever the potential sponsor needs, we'll provide. So, before I show you, the package, let me show you the venue. What William sent me recently. It's only a minute or so long, so bear with me, my friend.
Hey, amazing people, thank you so much. And today I'm blessed to let you know that the venue is set. No Human Issues Annual Conference is coming up live this September in Ghana. Thank you for supporting us. And this is a safe space where the youth, those who are going through depression, battling silence, and cannot let it out. This is a safe space for you to overcome depression, build emotional resilience, and then find purpose. I'll be glad to see you. Let's do this. Thank you.
No human is useless, I know. Through the darkness we still glow, rising up from what we've been, finding strength in where we've been. Hands got rough from earth so cold, learn to mend what.
Yeah, no, I mean the venue looks scary, William. The thought of
Don't be
standing in front
scared. It's normal.
Oh no, I'll be scared in a good way. I like being scared. What's the word? If there's no excitement, right? There's no, it's like anxiety and excitement is the same thing. It's the same feeling in your body. So I embrace it for what it is. So William does have his sponsorship packages. If anyone, so William, I'll let you talk about it yourself, my friend. Are you still there? Yeah, you're still there.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
So I've split the page so they're side by side.
Okay. So the sponsorship packages, we want to give out the title sponsors. Title sponsor where your name or your business name will be attached to the whole event. No Human is Useless Annual Conference, powered by, let's say, powered by any, so that your name, your company name is being attached to it. And we give you a 10-minute speaking slot. We're going to have a post magazine where we will dedicate a full page for you. So you want to talk about your business, what you do. We're going to give you a full page for that. Your logo will be placed on. We are going to mount a billboard in Ghana. So your name, your business name will be on there and all of that. So basically, the title sponsorship is where the key interest is, but we have other packages where the transformation partner ranges from $10,000. That is for the title sponsorship. We come down to $7,000, $5,000, and $2,000, and it all comes with benefits. You are not going to be left out because this is an international something. We are bringing people all over the world, from speakers from the US. We have one Guinness Record World holder coming down from the US to come and speak. And this is how I want it. I want it an international level. That low mindset is off my brains right now. So we are going high, thinking big, because if people are. And yesterday I was talking to my team, and they were telling me that Cristiano Ronaldo is the best fit for this No Human is Useless, because when you read his story, he's the best fit for it. And I told them we are going to have him on board in our next event, and it's possible. That's the way I'm thinking right now. So we'll be happy to have you on board. Yes, we will be happy to have you on board, and then we get this done. No Human is Useless to the world.
Yeah, no, it will be done, my friend. Say, you have to dream big and aim big, right? You have to aim to truly, change the lives of not just to one person and not just 300. Now we're talking thousands of kids at once, right? I'll tell you why I'm excited, William. I'm excited because TV are coming. That's why I'm excited. That's a draw for me, right? See, I want there's something I'm sure you all know. Seller, the bookstore. I don't know why we haven't created an African Amazon. I don't understand. Pardon me. Seller is so small. We don't hear of Seller here. No one goes to Seller from the UK, as far as I know. Maybe I know Dr. Leslie is a publisher of of tens of books, so he might tell us more. But I think we need to create these large companies that dominate the world. Why is Amazon doing it? Why haven't we got our own? Why is Alibaba coming to Africa to come and take over? Where is our own creation? I don't understand. What are we doing? Yeah, but anyway, I want to be the one that publishes the Africans books on Amazon. That's my driver, William. And I need people to see me, to hear me, before they start taking me seriously, right? So that no, I never lie about my goals. That I want to publish Africans books, more of them, on a scale where they actually sell them and make money from their book sales. That's the idea. Anyway, David is typing away. What are you doing? An essay? I'll mute you. I'll mute you. I'll mute when you want to talk, David. All right.
Okay. At this time, I don't want to talk. I was trying to respond to somebody,
Okay.
Dr. Joseph, and this is not an advert. I met him on this platform, and Eddie, thank you very, very much. I think you're a confluence center. You see the way River Benue and River Niger brings water together. You're uniting and creating synergies amongst persons. Now, I met Dr. Joseph on this platform, and he gave me the privilege to make me see what he's doing in the US. And you'll be wowed. He runs an NGO, and it's a diversity and inclusion NGO. I can. This is not the platform to talk about another NGO, but trust me, you may just want to check out what he's doing. And I'm touched at his passion towards this, and also his genuine inclusivity, because we live in a time and age where people see NGO as a means of being lazy as an educated person. So people want to collect other people's money and misuse it, but they believe that if they use the word NGO, then you won't probe them, then they can mess up with it. This is one man who is very intentional, not just with the funds, but with the fact that he's impacting people. You know how people take their NGO to areas where they don't really need those services, but because they want to collect money. So he's looking at those rural areas, not just rural areas, but the areas that need the product that they as SDG have to the world. This platform brings together Asians, Caucasians, Africans, non-Africans, and give them equal opportunity to thrive in the world. And this is an African doing this in the United States. And top of it, he's a young man at heart, but I know he should not be in his 30s. And I'm saying this to say that one of the challenges we have in Africa, just as Williams had pointed out earlier, is that people are waiting for retirement in quotes. We grew up in a society that have given us deadlines, and we're working with these deadlines, whether it impacts us positively or negatively. So somebody has calculated that I should graduate from school at 25, I should start my first job at 27, I should be married at 30 or 29, I should build my first house at 50. And because they have that mindset, when they have children or they have opportunities where they could have broken the jinx and make better opportunities of their time, they are cold. They go into their shell. But I love that people like you, people like Mr. Joseph or Dr. Joseph, are doing this to defile the fact that, not even the fact, to defile that it's not about age. We get old from our mind. At 16, you can start pulling crowd, but that doesn't stop you from doing that at 60. So I was really trying to type to Dr. Joseph when you caught me, and yes, you caught me. In Nigeria, I would say, okay, you don't catch me. You caught me.
Look, everything you said about the man, I agree with you entirely. I've met him, a couple of times, and I know the great work he's doing, and thank goodness for people like Dr. Joseph for sure. He's an author, of course. If you're an author, believe you me, I want to be your friend. I have and I do everything to become your friend because that's just me, right? Wow. That's my goal in life, But look, interesting thing you say about how we have this weird times in our heads. So of course, someone who's broken all those chains is Dr. Leslie. Yeah, this man is more than successful. Yes, Dr. Les, I'm coming to you. This man is more than successful. He's doing his thing. He always has done. He's done for years, and it's working, right? He's the sort of person we want in your conference with you. To come and show us that it can be done. And it's not just can be done; it is being done. David said earlier, it's not what we will do; it's what we're doing. It's who we are. That's the point. Dr. Leslie, talk to us. Please, share with us, what you want to share with us on our topic, especially. What's
Oh,
stopping us scaling, Dr. Leslie?
okay. Okay. I just want to say thank you. Any David was using this word that is like a confluence. It's a confluence that brings two rivers together. Any is a collaborator. Any is an influencer. Any is a dreamer. It connects people's dream together to make it reality. And he has been great with it. He has done a lot doing that. I must tell you, somebody that has done a lot. All 2, 3 years, I know him now. He has helped a lot of people to become publishers, to become authors, to become best-selling author, to become speakers, to become event organizer. I mean, so many things. Okay, I is one person I appreciate every day, and I must tell you, anytime he send me invitation to do this, I always ensure that I keep my time, ensure I do it. Okay, Leslie Ademola is a Nigerian because I see Davida is a Nigerian there.
Yes,
I know
I'm
Nigeria,
Nigerian.
yes. They say Nigeria know they carry last. We know they carry
Yes.
last. Ah.
No, we can't. We can't.
But the truth is this. I think it's high time for we Africans to wake up from our slumber. Just like what William, look at William. I know when William came on one of the audio events and talked about his rigorous life. Sorry, Williams, I'm using that word rigorous. He went through difficult times. He was able to move from a journey of hopelessness to a journey of transformation. And today, I think he was able to publish a book. After publishing the book, he started the movement. This is the way we ought to think. That is how we must think. Every man, we are wired. We are wired to move. We are not wired to be stable. We are not wired to be stagnant. We are wired to move. And in moving, you have to think. In thinking, you have to come up with great ideas. And in your great ideas, you should be able to turn around things. Now, look at it. Don't look at yourself. Look at the people. Anytime you learn to look at the people, you will do great things. But when you look at yourself, you will do less. When you look at the people, you do great, great things. And Williams, I want to say congratulations to you. Ronaldo is not just the person alone. Contact other people like Brian Tracy, all top-notch speakers, Tony Robbins, name them, call them. Tony Robbins have one foundation in Africa where he helped the African children and all that. Connect him and see how you can bring him to Africa. But one of the things I want to tell you is this: let it be proudly Africa. Let Africa come over to talk about their stories, put their stories together, and tell the world that Africa is great. Africa is the next revolutionary vehicle. Africa should be the last
Amazing.
vehicle. Africa should be the last vehicle, if I'm not mistaken. I'm saying this because I go to most of the African countries. I look at what people are doing. I look at them. I say, what? Okay. And he just mentioned so many things, and I appreciate it. I keep appreciating it. But I must tell you something. We started business with nothing, and today we do great in business. As I speak with you right now, I'm using AI agents to build up SaaS products. Now, one of my SaaS products I just built some 4 or 5 days ago. As I speak with you, I have over 1,000 users working using that SaaS product right now. I'm working on so many SaaS products, so many products. I started with book writing. I've written over 15 books. I published a lot in Africa here. One of my book in Nigeria sold over 300,000 copies in 3 years. I moved from place to place to make sure I'm able to sell those books. But I want to tell you something. Every movement, every journey you embark, every journey you commit yourself to, please note this: you are not doing it for anybody. You are doing it for yourself. Anything you put today, you contribute to yourself today. Anything you do today is yourself. If you do them in Africa, if you do it in America, any part of the world, use for yourself. One of the things I decided not to do is this: going to Europe. I spent some time in UK, especially in Manchester. I also moved to other part of Europe. I came back to Nigeria. I look at Nigeria. Nigeria is the best place for you to stay. I stayed in Nigeria for some years. I moved from Nigeria from less than $100. I and my partners, we built up a company for about $128 million in Lagos, Nigeria. And building that company, after building several companies and all that, I started going to startups. I built startups. I will grow the startup from small. After a period of time, I will exit. And I've exited about 3 startups. I exited one 1.2. I exited one less than $800,000. I exited one 1.3. But most of them, I'm not making much money from them. Why? Because investing much fund in them makes me to learn so many things from other founders. I learn from Africans. I start learning from Africans. I start learning from most of the individuals, African individuals, people. You see, young people, they have what it takes. It is not about the money you have to invest in them. No. First thing you must do is to re-educate them. You have to change their mindset. Can anyone hear me? It's like,
Oh
No,
yes, yes,
perfectly. We
yes,
hear
yeah.
you
yes,
perfectly, my friend.
yes.
Okay,
You're
okay,
absolutely legible, Dr. Leslie. Continue,
okay. So,
continue.
so, so the fact is that it is not about the money you invest in people in Africa. No, we need to re-educate their mindset. Three components that are so important. I keep talking about these 3 components. I talk about mindset, attitude, and skills. 3 things. There are some people who are skillful, but they don't have the right mindset. They cannot drive their skills to a level where they can build up a big business. For example, look at Stripe. Stripe is in Europe. Look at Perplexity. Perplexity is one of the biggest AI companies today in the world. It's in America. How many do we have in Africa? In Nigeria today, we have only the fintech type of companies. When I mean fintech, talking about the financial institution on digital. Those are what we are building in Nigeria, in Africa particularly. These are just it. We have the money point, we have this, we have that, and all that. But we are talking about what will affect the youth, affect the individual, the young boys, the young girls in Nigeria, in Ghana, in South Africa, in Sierra Leone, in Rwanda, in Burundi, in name it. How do we connect these youths? How do we connect? How do we make them work? One way to make them work, like I said, three skills, very important. The skills, 3 components. You have the skills, the attitude, and the mindset. If we can re-educate them and put them to that level, I tell you, we're going to do very great. My dream every day is not to build a business empire of multi-billion dollars, because my goal is to make sure I have one of the biggest company, one of the biggest business empire in the world. From Africa, not from America. I'm not talking about the one you have in New York stock market. I'm talking about the one you have in Africa. I don't care which of the Africa country, but what I'm concerned about is Africa. So when we start thinking, what kind of business, what are the things we do? Like you just mentioned a foundation, Dr. Joseph also. Now, what exactly is Dr. Joseph's goal? He has his goal. How do we connect Dr. Joseph to Williams? How do we connect Williams to Dr. Leslie? How do we call Dr. Leslie to Annie? How do we call Annie to Davida? Davida to other Africans that will start sitting and speak one voice. Not just speaking one voice, but thinking of what is the next big thing? What is the next big thing? The big thing is the most important thing. There, I think some 3 weeks or so like that, we talk about small businesses around African countries, how they connect together, how they dollarize. Is it dollarize? Any, right? How they dollarize, their markets and so. Most of the markets in Africa will use dollars. That is not
Yeah.
the pain. How do we make our small businesses become economy vehicle? How did they become so powerful? Because the fact is that the only way Africa can succeed today is the economy. It's not just the population, not the numbers. The economy. You talk about human resources. You talk about skills acquisition, and other things. You talk about those kind of. Do see, When we are able to bring all those resources together and start thinking of how to build to build Africa, Africa can start from Davida. Africa can start from Williams. Africa can start from Annie. Africa can start from Leslie. Africa can start with anybody. So whatever thing we are doing, we should start thinking of how to connect to our youths. The fact is that whatever thing we want to think about, imperialism, colonization, and what do you call it? The other neo what?
Nipo.
Name all
Neocolonialism. Neocolonialism.
new colonialism, also whatever thing you want to call them. The fact is that you cannot be empowered when you don't even think of empowering yourself.
Sure.
We need to empower ourselves for us to be empowered. You cannot attract opportunity when you don't have the right skills, you don't have the right mindset. So we have to start thinking in that direction and see the kind of businesses we can start building. Because for me, like I said, the reason why American is America today, if you remember the man they called the Master of Iron, which is what's his name? The Master of Iron, the man that reigned some years ago, Rockefeller. Is it Rockefeller? Rockefeller is the oil, is the one that did oil. I think, and is it Andrew Carnegie? One of them, I think Andrew Carnegie did on iron and became a multi-billionaire. These are the people that built American economy, that built American today, you see. So what are we thinking of? Do we have the short-term goal? Are we just thinking of ourselves? I've thought about myself so many times that, okay, I want to be rich. Yes, I want to be rich. I want to drive good cars. I want to wear good clothes. I want to be doing everything good and all that. Okay, after enjoying all these things, driving good cars, living in a good environment, in a highbrow area, and not some of these things. So what is next? So the next thing is for me to start thinking of how to impact people, how to grow African youth, how to make sure things work out. That is why I have to take my time to go to Rwanda. And by God's grace, I have a business in Rwanda, in Nigeria. We are creeping into Botswana and Ghana. I think we have. I have Williams there. I'm going back to Ghana. I'm going to revisit Ghana. I've been there before. I'm going back there again. Since William is there, we'll revisit Ghana. We think of how we start expand. We start expounding ourselves. Take note. Expansion is not growth. No, expansion is not growth. When you start
That's a
something
punchline.
small, yeah, when you start something small, you start growing yourself. You grow step by step, step by step. It's not about expansion. But the fact is that if you have the mindset where someday, sometime you have a long-term goal, and thinking this your long-term goal is 10 years, 15 years, 20 years goal, and want to use that goal to build when I mean biggest enterprise, biggest organization, biggest foundation, biggest resource hub, biggest this, biggest that. It has to start from the small goals. So what goals are we setting? How do we want to turn it around? What are the things we need to do? How do we make it work? So when we start thinking about this, I tell you, this program, God bless you, any day, anytime. Any is a sustain, it has this sustainability, it has this ability to sustain anything. Especially one of all these programs. He has been sustaining this program for a long time, long time. Any God bless you. And we are looking at something that someday we should take it from the level it is to the best level. Take it from this ordinary level to the highest level. What is the highest level? We can use this same channel to connect to Williams, and Williams should be proud to have speakers who are coming out there to talk about their dirty old days or their unsuccessful stories, and turn every unsuccessful stories to journey of transformation that will
I
build,
love that. I love
that will
that.
affect people's lives, that will make that people in Ghana, the people coming from America, all the speakers coming from America, they will ask themselves that if we have this in Africa, why are we coming to America? If we have this in Africa, why are we traveling to UK? If we have this in Africa, why are we doing this? The fact is that people cannot empower you when you're not empowered. So Williams, I will really love you. You initiate so many things. I love your courage. I love your thinking. I love the way you do things. And also, God will keep blessing you. And God will keep expanding you. And God will keep giving you wisdom for you to grow and scale. and also Davida. I
Amen.
know this is the first time I'm talking to you. I think I've seen you several times, but this is the first time I'm talking to you. But I want to tell you something. Less than 2%, less than 2.4% in America, entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs are able to dominate the industry. Less. I think about 2.8 or so. It's less than 5%. So I
In
see you
America.
become, yeah, in America. They're not to talk about places like, in America, you have a lot of women, female entrepreneurs who are into so
Yes.
many things, who are into this, who are into that, who are into this. In Nigeria, in Africa, oh, I mean, sorry, less than 2.8 in Africa, sorry, not America. I think America is about 14 or 60. I can't remember that. Less than 2.8 in Africa, sorry, not America, Africa. If you have that kind of number in Africa, for God's sake, what does it mean? It means the women are invisible. So, Davida,
That's true.
what do you do? There's one thing to start a race. There's another thing for you to maintain the race. You run slow and steady to finish big. One mentality most of us have in Africa here is this. We start small and think small. You must learn to start small and think big. When you start small and think big, you will know how to map your goals. So when you map up the small goals, because you start small, in starting small, you start experiencing so many things you've not seen with your eyes. I'm talking about pitfalls. I'm talking about pitfalls, small wins. Now, those pitfalls and small wins, they are experience, but they are lessons. They are lessons for success. So what do? You align those lessons to your thinking big. Thinking big means at the end of the day, you start putting up more of those lessons, become more efficient and more productive. Now, when you're efficient and more productive, what do you experience? Start experiencing growth. And when you start experiencing growth, you are on the lane you're on the lane of scalability. When you're on the lane of scalability, that's how you can take your company or your business from $10, from $1,000 to 100,000, or to $10,000, from $10,000 to 100,000, from 100,000 to $1 million. Before you know, you start growing a big organization. That is why I said expansion is not growth. When you grow a business, you generate revenue and also you generate profit. That is growth. That is business, because you are impacting, you are affecting people's life. So not until we start thinking in this direction and start thinking, okay, what to do. There is no day that will pass by without me thinking of how to evolve an idea. I don't care if the idea is useless. All I know is that the idea can make something out of nothing. Now, I look at most of African youth. We are still talking about tech startup. We are still talking about small company. What about the AI? What about the AI startups? What about bringing AI to Africa? Use AI to do almost everything. I must tell you, I use 48% AI to build things. I'm faster and faster. I can create so many things now. So many things. Imagine how you can sit down and I can spend, instead of me spending about $20,000 to $30,000 for developer, I use
Oh, did we lose him? Talking about okay.
Not until we start thinking about it, putting ourselves in those things, start putting ourselves in the new technology we have, trending technology. When you put yourself in a trending technology, you become relevant in all ramification. When you become relevant, it affects your economy, it affects domestic economy, community economy, and it affects the entire economy. So start thinking, and when you start affecting the entire economy, you start changing the life, you start transforming people's life. When people's life are transformed, they see bigger picture of what they want to achieve. That is why you start seeing success stories all around Africa. And it's my passion for me to grow Africa. Like I said in 2028, I don't care what anybody want to think. I know in 2028, I'm going to build an empire worth over $9.8 billion. It's nobody's business, it's my business. And that's what I believe. In Africa, in 48 countries will experience, our youth and everybody will experience exactly what the Americans are experiencing. If I must tell you, it's just that many things are not documented. Where did civilization start from? Where did education start from? Is it not from the same Africa? So why don't we drive the same thing here and make sure that we become what we desire in our life? I must tell you, they say Nigeria economy is bad, Ghana economy is bad, this economy is bad, that economy is bad. In bad economy, in every economy that you don't see opportunities, it means you don't have eyes to see the future. When economy are bad, or when you have had economy are difficult, things are difficult, that is the best time for you to see opportunity, because when things are difficult, people try to stay in survival mode. So what do? You have to switch from survival mode to growth mode. When you switch from survival mode to growth mode, you now learn how to solve people's problem. In solving people's problem, what happens to you? You start experiencing elevation. It is as easy as that. So it is about how we think. So our thinking should be to turn around things, to work in the things. So Davida, Williams, and Annie, thank you very much. I appreciate your good work and also looking forward to see how we can grow. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend. You inspire all of us. I tell you that for nothing. You are the inspiration
Thank you.
that fuels all of us. So a few more people have joined us. Dr. Vivian, I see you. So good evening on this side of the world. So glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. Another amazing person. If you haven't connected with Dr. Vivian, do connect with her. And say taking her business and making a difference is her thing for sure. Joni says, I have a translator app on my phone. Just add the country and send. I wonder how that works in Yoruba. I wonder. Yeah, well, I said that because I've read it, and I used to read an African, a pidgin English Bible, and after a while, it confused me more than it helped me, right? But now, Dr. Leslie, you say many important things, my friend. We do need to work on creating solutions, and that's where from solutions the things flow. If we're truly committed to helping others, so when me and Michael started earlier, things just work easier, right? Things just work easier, and we can do we can do such great things when we commit to helping people rather than even helping ourselves. When we help people, we help ourselves. I mean, that's not rocket science, is it? The whole point of helping people is that you help yourself. You get rich, and you know you have that sense of fulfillment that Leslie talked about. So But look, thank you so much, everyone. So I wonder if you have your one big tip that Oh my goodness, Joni, you confused me there, right? I have no idea, Joni.
I think that's Hausa. That's Hausa. I think that's Hausa.
Really?
Wallahi, Daya. Let me not even go there. But it's Hausa,
At least
actually.
you tried.
Yeah.
You
He said,
started, right?
But you see
wallahi
what's like Magan.
da
Okay.
shi za a yi magana ya a nan Najeriya. Abin mamaki ne ya da za ku iya magana.
Magana.
Na, 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 na
Do
dauka. Na dauka ne mai magana ce. Okay, okay.
Wow.
I love this. Who
You
translated
know,
this? That's a
it's
Joanne.
true.
I can't. This is Joni. I can't even translate it. I won't know where to
Oh,
start.
she on the app.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
has
wow,
a
that's
translation
great.
on her phone.
Wow, that's great. Hausa is dominant in Africa. In not only in Nigeria, you have it Hausa in Ghana, Sierra Leone,
Yeah.
and some other
Niger.
part of other Africa, Niger. I think some part of Mali. So Hausa is really, really huge in Africa. That's a great app. That's good. A good one. Good one. It's a good one.
No, thanks, Joni. Well, no, put the name
Only
of the
Sanu
app
the
in the comments,
IT.
Joni, if you don't mind. Put
Sanu.
the name of the name of the app in the comments so we can go and download it. So that's remarkable, right? So Nigerians never seen Hausa language written down before. That's me. Sorry about that. Look, my friends, look, thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me. Look, I think I agree. You know, there's a lot that we can do, but I think we can take those small steps, right? We need to take those small steps we talked about today. It's AI. Dr. Leslie mentioned is important. Now, AI is definitely part of the tools that we can use. But I will say, don't make AI your business. Don't make AI your brain. So the people use AI. If all you do is AI, when the tools don't work, when the tools don't give you what you want, what are you gonna do? This is why when I experience means something. Go and learn, and then you can use AI to speed up your process. So that makes sense. Don't make AI the brains of your business. If you do that, you run a very big risk. There's other AI users, and they can create the same thing you can create. So now the question then becomes, how are you different to the others? You're not. So make sure that you have an expertise, a skill that the world needs. You can create solutions that the world needs using these technologies. That's my personal take. But look, we can connect each other. We can do, we can collaborate. We can make our world a better place. People are doing it already. It's not theory. So everyone here, we're trying our little bits. We're doing our little bits to bring people together and to help. Right. Look, I'll thank you all. So Dr. Vivian says mindset, attitude, skills. Yeah, exactly. That's the trio that Dr. Leslie mentioned. The skills thing. I think we'll talk about the skills thing next time. Where are our skills gaps? Where should we focus our attention to give us that boost to level up and to get ahead in our niches, whatever that is, right? Let's talk about that next time. My friends, if I'll give you 30 seconds, if you want to give us your one quick tip, your one last big tip, the question is this: where do we start?
Thank you very much, Annie. I love that Dr. Lisa had shed a light on the gender thing. I mean, I'm not feminist and I'm not very big with giving a particular gender a horn over the other. I love to be more human, and that any human that deserves it should get it. But I love the fact that I know what he was saying is very crucial, because sometimes we're just victims of our society. And even though we have people in the society that understand that it's not just about gender, there are others who for some reason may want to shut up some persons because of their gender. And there are some challenges. I mean, some could even be biological, because for a woman, let's assume a woman of childbearing age, a woman who is raising a family, you may not call, it may be challenging to have her output same as one who is not, and something of those sorts. And I love the fact that he advised me personally with this. And at the point, I was scared if he knew me much more than this place, because in recent times that had been my challenge. I do very good poetry, very good. I do stage performances, but at the time I started shrinking. In fact, I don't even have any of my stuff on social media yet. I remember winning a competition, a writing competition, a poem writing competition in 2023 of January. So HRs in Nigeria had gathered for a meeting, and there was a competition for people to write stuff right on the spot. You don't go home and write it and bring it. And my work came first. I won the money. And since that time, persons have been expecting me to do more, but I never did. I just had some fears within. And this year, I think in April, someone, Lara Yeko, who is one of the top HRs in Africa, had reached out to me to say she has an event and she believes I have a potential that I have not been harnessing, and I should come do something for the event. So I prepared and did a 5 minutes, as a 4 minutes presentation, a poetry. And the title of the poetry was Welcome to My Funeral. And what I was saying in that poetry was, I am welcoming myself to a death journey, to die to everything that have been stopping me so I come alive. Because I realize that as humans, we can be walking dead because we committed suicide, but we're still working. So we could have been the ones that have stabbed our potential, that have stabbed the things that we have in us and have not allowed it to bloom. At the end of my presentation, I had at least 13 person come up to me to say, I want to have your portfolio. We'll have events in our company and we'll need someone to do this kind of work for us. You know, I even though I was excited, I was hurt. I was hurt because how many opportunities have I missed because somewhere, somehow, I had so many excuses. I said maybe I'm working and but all of those excuses now, I realized that they do not exist. It was because I had limited myself. So I say this to close to thank Dr. Ademola. Thank you very, very much for what you've said. Thank you for reigniting that fire again. And for anyone listening to me, especially the women, please do not let anything stop you from achieving your goals. And that is not to say you should fight anything that is stopping you. Two truths can coexist. So I'm not saying you go and scatter your family life and hurt your children and husband and stuff because you want to fulfill your goals. You can use wisdom to see how every area of your life fits in, and you aim as we aim to make the world a better place. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I mean, that's deep, right? Anyway, look, I see a book to publish, a poetry book, Davida. I'm going to publish a
Mhm.
poetry book soon. I can tell the world now.
Yes. Yes, I will.
We'll
Yes,
cross
I
that
will.
bridge in good time.
Yes, I will. Yes,
We'll
I
talk
will.
later. Excellent, excellent. You know, you're a poet. Let's you know, the world will know you're a poet. You know, because you are that person. Dr. Leslie, let me come to you next. You know, I think
Yeah.
just
Okay. I would just want to appreciate. I want to appreciate Davida and Williams, especially Williams, Blanche. No human is useless. Really, yes, no human is useless. Actually, no human is useless. And also, I also want to appreciate your confidence, your courage, and also how you drive your, should I use your program, your business, your services, how you drive impact to the society. I think for me, I just want to say this. Annie says something. AI, AI is just an assistant. Make AI a co-pilot. Make AI your co-partner. Just make AI become efficient to you. AI cannot give you the exact thing you have upstairs in your brain. AI cannot make you more talented more than the way you are. AI cannot make AI cannot make you cannot bring in that personal development more than you can think. The only thing you need AI for is to push AI, make AI just your co-pilot, make AI just your co-partner to make yourself efficient and more productive. That's just it. Then second, lastly, I want to say I encourage more people to come on the same platform to think. Someone sent me a message talking about implementation, biggest problem in Africa. We know how to talk, we know how to set goals, but it's difficult for us to execute, to implement. It's so difficult. Now, one of the things people don't understand is this. It is not as if they don't want to execute it or they don't want to implement. Hope we know that execution and implementation is also a skill. It's something you must learn to do. It is not just something you just say, I just want to do it. You must learn to do it and you must keep it. And the best thing that keep it together is discipline. Nobody loves to do what he's doing, but you just have to keep on doing what you want to do, keep doing it, be consistent with what you do. Over time, you start experiencing exponential growth. So when you want to succeed in life, think something. Ask yourself question, what do I want to achieve? Every time you ask yourself question, you give a passage for your life, for meaning to life. So when you start thinking that direction, things can work out for you. So I just want to wish everyone the best, and let's start thinking how we ignite our ideas, ignite our knowledge, ignite what we have, and make Africa great. Thank you very much.
beautifully said. You know, beautifully said indeed. You know, it you know, as Dr. Vivian says, she agrees with you. It is a thinking part, and that's what we should be working on. I agree with you entirely. I think we'll agree with you. You know, as our thinking that we need to start. You know, that's what we need to work on. Our mindset, the way we imagine ourselves. I think so again, that's what David started with earlier. Dr. Leslie, you mentioned another big point. What's our why? Without having that, why are we doing this? We're not going to commit to doing it. Simply that. William, you're the star of the show as always, my friend. So the excitement's building, but we'll talk. We'll talk later. But what do you want to leave us with in terms of you think we should start on this? You know, scaling up our businesses and being bigger and being better than we are.
Yeah, thank you. And first of all, I just want to say, Dr. Leslie, you're so amazing. Blessed to have you here today. I've learned a lot. Likewise, Davida. It's my first time seeing you, but then full of knowledge. I'll connect with you and we'll talk more. So, anyhow, the only thing I want to say right now is, based on my experience and with the things I've been able to achieve with nothing, I just want to say that don't be scared to go for anything you want in life, because anything you want that has a human being involved in it, there's always around it. There's always a way around it for you to get it. So don't be scared about the dream. If it is big, it's achievable, because if you've had any human being achieve it, you're also a human being. Nobody is superhuman. We are all humans, so we are able to achieve it. So don't let it scare you. All you need to do is just move. Oh, Leslie made mention of that. Our mind is made as a man to move. Keep on moving. When you get a rejection, when you get a no for an answer somewhere, don't get stuck there. Keep on moving. Because I always say that God has placed helpers ahead of us. And all of us, all we need to do is just to move and meet them. If you make something get you stuck and you don't move, your helpers are ahead of you. You just only have to move to meet them. And this is the reason why I am 9 times international bestseller today. All I had to do is just move. At the time I met Annie, I was way down. I've lost it all. But then I met him, and then in a dream that I had for 5 years happened in just 1 year, just because I moved to meet somebody like Annie. So keep on moving. Don't let anything scare you. Keep on moving. Your helpers are ahead of you. You need to meet them. Thank you, Annie.
No, thank you. It's a true word you say. Believe and keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. That's how it's done, right? It's not a trick. There's no other way. Michael, what's your last word, my friend? I got about 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds. All right. People cannot empower you when you're not empowered. That is something from Leslie. Another thing from Leslie is growth is finishing the race, having run and overcome the obstacles. That's my addition. Empowering your internal growth over time is also my addition. So do that. Yeah, the last, least and last, solving other people's problems elevates them and in turn elevates you. That is the ultimate superpower. Elevating other people in turn elevates you. You will not go far by yourself, but you will go far with others. That is also another African proverb. Take care. That's all I got, Annie.
Well said, my friend. Well said. Look, if you missed most of our conversation, please do watch the replay. I have to send you my YouTube link. I would love you to go and watch it there. Dr. Joseph says this was a wonderful and inspiring session. It really is. But this is just the beginning for all of us. We're working towards William's event. Thank you so much, everyone. Davida, you're a star. So I can't wait. Say, of course, being a HR, the conversation next time about where's our skills gaps. I'm sure it's one of yours. I'm sure you have a lot of inputs into that for sure. My friends, thank you so much. Do go in the comments, connect with people who are here, and have those conversations. It gives me joy to know that David has spoken to Dr. Leslie and and Dr. Joseph as well. I'm saying, let's make real friends. That's where our future lies. The people William's talking about, they're here. If only you just reached out to them, actually connected with them, and met them. That's what life's all about. That's where we start. My friends, enjoy. So we're back again in 2 weeks. I've got a prize draw coming up next. But thank you so much, everyone. David will talk. William will talk. Michael will talk. Dr. Leslie will talk. Take care, everyone. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
She's success with Global.Media.com and celebrating with the Without champagne or rum, achieve success with Global.Media.com.